The Menendez Brothers case is one of the most notorious family murders in American history, capturing the attention of the nation in the early 1990s. Lyle and Erik Menendez were convicted of the brutal killings of their parents, Jose and Kitty Menendez, in their Beverly Hills home on August 20th, 1989. The case became a media sensation, not just because of the shocking nature of the crime, but also because of the complex family dynamics, allegations of abuse, and the contrasting public opinions on the brothers' motives, the murders. On that fateful night, the Menendez brothers carried out a well-planned assault on their parents. Armed with shotguns, they ambushed Jose and Kitty while they were sitting on the couch in the family room. Jose, a successful entertainment executive of Cuban descent, was shot in the back of the head as he sat watching television. Kitty, hearing the shots, tried to escape, but was eventually shot multiple times. Some reports suggested she was even shot in the face, making it impossible to identify her without dental records. The scene was gruesome. Gunshots everywhere, shell casings scattered, blood covering the luxurious carpet and walls. But what made it more chilling was how coldly the brothers orchestrated the cover-up immediately afterward. Instead of calling for help, they left the house and went to the movies to create an alibi. Upon returning, they called 911, with Erik making a frantic call, sobbing, and telling the dispatcher that someone had killed their parents. The police initially believed the brothers and assumed the crime was a mob hit due to the violent nature of the attack and Jose's business dealings, the lavish spending. For a while, the brothers lived freely, indulging in an extravagant lifestyle with their parents' money. Lyle bought a Porsche, Rolex watches, and a restaurant in Princeton, while Erik pursued a professional tennis career and hired a personal coach. Together they spent hundreds of thousands of dollars in just months after the murders. Their sudden spending spree raised eyebrows, but there were no immediate arrests, as the police were still considering other suspects. What turned the investigation toward the brothers was Erik's confession during therapy sessions with his psychologist, Dr. L. Jerome Oziel. Erik confessed to the murders, and eventually, Lyle did too. Dr. Oziel's girlfriend overheard the confession and went to the police, setting off a chain of events that led to the brothers' arrests in March 1990. The trial and the abuse defense. The trial, which began in 1993, was broadcast live on court TV, drawing national attention. It wasn't just the gruesome details of the crime that intrigued the public, but the Menendez brothers' defense strategy. They didn't deny killing their parents, but they claimed they had been victims of years of emotional, physical, and sexual abuse by their father, and that their mother had been complicit in the abuse by turning a blind eye. The defense painted Jose Menendez as a cruel, domineering man who controlled every aspect of his sons' lives. According to the brothers, the abuse started at a young age, with Jose allegedly molesting Erik and forcing Lyle to participate in degrading activities. They described a household where fear and trauma were the norm, which eventually led to them believing that their lives were in danger. Their lawyers argued that the murders were an act of self-defense, an extreme response to the years of abuse and the belief that their father was going to kill them. Public opinion was divided. Some believed the brothers were victims of horrific abuse and saw the killings as a tragic but understandable consequence of the environment they grew up in. Others saw the brothers as cold-blooded killers who were motivated by greed and wanted to inherit their parents' fortune. The verdict, after months of testimony, which included graphic descriptions of the alleged abuse and emotional accounts from the brothers. The jury in the first trial was deadlocked. Some jurors were sympathetic to the brothers' claims, while others felt the abuse allegations were fabricated. As a result, the trial ended in a mistrial in 1994, with both brothers remaining in jail as the prosecution prepared for a retrial. In 1995, the second trial began. But this time, the judge limited the amount of evidence the defense could present regarding the alleged abuse. The prosecution argued that the murders were premeditated and motivated by greed. They pointed to the brothers' spending spree after the murders as proof that they were not acting out of fear, but out of a desire to live a lavish lifestyle without their parents' control. The second jury was not as sympathetic as the first. In March 1996, Lyle and Erik Menendez were found guilty of first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit murder. They were sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Legacy and public opinion. The Menendez Brothers case has continued to captivate the public long after the trial ended. The case raised important questions about abuse, family dynamics, and the extent to which abuse can be used as a defense for murder. Many still debate whether the brothers were truly victims of their father's tyranny, or whether they were manipulative killers who fabricated the abuse story to avoid the death penalty. In prison, both Lyle and Erik have married, though they remain incarcerated in separate facilities. Over the years, they have become figures of fascination in pop culture, with documentaries, TV series, and books exploring every aspect of the case. The brothers' tragic story, filled with wealth, ambition, and the ultimate betrayal, continues to resonate, illustrating the dark complexities that can lie beneath the surface of even the most successful families. In recent years, some advocates for the brothers have tried to revisit the case, arguing that their abusive upbringing was not fully considered during the trial. However, any chance of release remains slim. For many, the Menendez brothers represent one of the most infamous examples of family murder, a story of privilege and pain that ended in unspeakable violence.